Hi, dear students. Today we're going to revise some aspects and the uses of defining relative clauses. To revise what they are, we're going to read this very short definition. Defining relative clauses come immediately after a noun and give vital information about that noun. They tell us which person, thing, or place we're talking about. So here we have the first two important aspects of these clauses. We know that they come after noun and that they give vital information about that noun. They're going to tell us which person, thing, or place we are talking about. Here we have an example. She's the nurse. Which nurse? She's the nurse who looked after my father. So this is the defining relative clause related to nurse. She's not any nurse. She is the nurse who looked after my father. Let's continue. They can go in the middle or at the end of the sentences. Example. The nurse who looked after my father is in her 50s. In this case, the defining relative clause is right in the middle of the sentence. The nurse who looked after my father is in her 50s. Let's take a look to the second example. This is the nurse who looked after my father. In this case, the defining relative clause comes at the end of the sentence. This is the nurse who looked after my father. Let's continue. Relative pronouns are different depending on whether they refer to people, places, things, or possessions. Here we have a short list. We have who or that to refer to people. We have where to refer to places. We have which or that to refer to things, and whose to refer to possessions. In connection to relative pronouns, we can see that who or which can replace the subject or object of a sentence. When they replace the object, it is possible to omit who or which. Let's see some examples. That's the boy who helped me. Subject. In this case, the relative pronoun who is the subject of the verb in the clause. The boy helped me. That's the boy who helped me. In this case, this relative pronoun cannot be omitted. Let's see the second example. That's the girl who I met at Jake's party. Who, in this case, is the object of the verb in the clause. I met the girl. So, who is referring to the girl I met. In this case, who becomes the object of this verb. So, as we saw recently, we can omit this relative pronoun. So, that's the girl I met at Jake's party. Omission. That's the girl who I met at Jake's party. We omit who, and here we have the sentence. Finally, we can see that we often use that instead of which, and can use that instead of who in informal English. Here we have two examples. Here's the CD that you were asking about. Here's the CD that you were asking about. So in this case, instead of using which, because CD is a thing, I can use that. Example number 2. That's the girl I met at Jake's party. This is the relative pronoun, that. Instead of using who, I use that. That's the girl that I met at Jake's party. Let's remind that this is in informal English. On the other hand, in very formal English, we can use whom instead of who when the pronoun is the object of the clause. Let's read the example. He was a leader whom many people admired. So, instead of using who, we're going to use whom. And we can see that whom is replacing the object of the clause. Many people admired that leader. So whom, which is referring to this leader, is the object of the clause. Let's see the final aspect. Prepositions can go at the end of a relative clause or in very formal style at the start. Let's see the first example. He didn't get the job which he applied for. He didn't get the job which he applied for. This preposition is at the end of the clause, which he applied for is referring the job he applied for. So he applied for the job. In this case, this is the most common use. But example number 2, we see that he wasn't appointed to the post for which he applied. He wasn't appointed to the post for which he applied. We can see that in very formal style, the way the second sentence is written in, we have the preposition at the start of the clause. So, for which he applied is related to the post. Yes? Okay. I hope this was useful for you to revise the use and some aspects of defining relative clauses. We're going to go on working and practicing with this topic. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.